look, welcome to Terry's Tips, guys. Get a notebook, get a pen. Do not buy Tradelines. Guys, not only do I not recommend it, it is a horrible idea. It is a temporary fix. It is a band-aid on a real problem. Guess what? When you have something like a band-aid, that means it does not last forever and you're not going to get massive results. Have you tried to buy a Tradeline before? Did you buy a Tradeline and not get the results? Were you thinking about buying a Tradeline? No. Okay, guys, you have been lied to. You have been bamboozled, but I'm going to set the record straight today, okay? And I'll do my nugget at the end. So let's jump right in. So number one, you are wasting time and money. So let me explain. So with the money part, guys, I have seen people pay anywhere between $500 to $3,000 for these authorized trade lines, okay? And literally that $500 or $3,000 could be used to actually get a secured credit card, to actually do a pay for delete, to actually pay down utilization, to actually maybe be a down payment on your big wealth building money, to incorporate your business. Guys, this is a wealth building ministry, and we focus on the 5 and 6 and 7 figures, the wealth building money. So those quick fixes, like you can get an authorized trade line and maybe get a Raymore and Flanagan card or a Best Buy card or a car with 35% interest. All you did was get into more debt. You did not build wealth. So you're wasting time and money because now you got this authorized trade line, crossed your fingers hoping it would actually work. Usually it does not work the way you intended anyway, and now you're out that money, have to start all over again. You've wasted time and money. And pause. Let me actually explain what a trade line is, okay? So for all my newbies, I do not get to see the entire video. For my vet, you already know the deal. So an authorized trade line, this is a credit card of usually, right? A revolving trade line, and it means it belongs to somebody. So let's say I have a Discover credit card for $5,000. Let's say I've had it for 5 years, it's $5,000. Let's say I only have, $500 on there, so super low utilization. And in that entire 5 years, I have never, ever been late. So that is a beautiful trade line, right? Do not get hung up on the word trade line in an account. These credit specialists, Lord, they just try to confuse y'all. And pause. Guys, I used to work for TransUnion. Let me leave that right there. I'm the only person in this credit space that used to actually work for a national credit bureau, which is why I don't do things like buy and sell trade lines, that actually educate you guys and tell you the truth. So I'm gonna leave that right there. So back to this actual example. So I had this Discover credit card. It is a beautiful trade line for me. It's primary, it's mine. Now, an authorized trade line or buying a trade line means that, let's say, Mike has horrible credit, and let's say I was a shady person, I could add him on my actual credit card and charge him for that. What happens is then now all that credit history from my account goes onto his credit report, and that can give him a boost in his score, but it will say authorized. So on my credit report, the Discover credit card says individual or primary, meaning it is my credit card, I've paid it on time, it's my credit history. On Mike's credit report, that trade line goes on there, but it says authorized, meaning it's borrowed credit history, and companies, especially for big wealth building money, know exactly what that means. You guys need to understand this part because you need to understand why this does not work and why it's a temporary fix, okay? So that is an authorized trade line, and people buy them and sell them. These credit repair specialists sell them all the time. Our channel, our brand has never, ever in the history of our brand bought and sold trade lines because of ethics and because of wealth building. I'm gonna leave that right there. So number one was you're wasting time and money. That money has a much better use. Is actually a tangible use that can give you a real foundation, okay? Now, number two is it's not as effective, especially now, because I'm doing this video in 2023 and they ran it into the ground. They ran it into the ground, guys. So before you could use these authorized trade lines and get like a great big boost, but then these credit repair specialists, got a hold of this and started realizing they could give their clients a boost instead of that actually help you. They just started buying and selling trade lines, and it went crazy. Guys, the credit bureaus and the creditors never meant for it to be used that way. What it meant, let's go back to that same $5,000 credit card. Let's say I have that credit card, and let's say my son is going off to college, and let's say I add him as an authorized user to have it like for an emergency, or let's say a husband adds a wife, or a mom adds a son or a daughter. It was meant to be used for somebody somebody that you want to give access, a family member, friend, spouse, that you want to give access to the card to use jointly with you and for like emergencies, not people buying and selling them to give their credit scores a boost. I'm just being honest with you. I'm telling you what I know, okay? I've been doing this for over 20 years, even though I look young, right? And before credit repair was even a thing, okay? So it's not as effective because they ran it into the ground so much. Well, now so many companies don't even report the authorized users anymore. Not all the scoring models pick it up anymore. It's not weighed as heavily as it used to be weighed. Guys, some of the companies now, even though they have authorized trade lines, they'll only report it if you're a spouse. So let's say you're a son or daughter, you're somebody buying or selling. If you're not a spouse, the person can only have one spouse. They can't add 20 spouses. Well, guess what? They done paid all that money to be added as an authorized user and didn't even get added to your report. And try getting your money back from a credit specialist. I'm gonna leave that right there. So it's not as effective anymore. Now, number 3. This one gonna make you, look, you wanna learn today, okay? The credit limit cannot be multiplied for business credit. Write it down. You're probably like, Terry, what does that mean? Let me explain. So many of you are entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, or investors. Many of you are just even incorporating your side hustle so you can build business credit. Congratulations, right? Because you understand multiple streams of income. Well, this is where if you have your own primary trade lines, meaning let's say go back to that Discover credit card and say it's $5,000 in personal credit. Well, now that you are a business owner building business credit, then we can actually usually get you a business credit card and multiply that trade line 2, 3, 5, 8 times. That means your personal credit report, $5,000 revolving trade line, which is a credit card, then I can right away get you a business credit card, or the business credit lenders will look and say, oh, they have a $5,000 personal card. They manage that on time. We can give them a business credit card. Come on, somebody. And we'll give them $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. I cannot tell you how many people in our wealth building community that have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, and $50,000 credit limit business credit cards like this. They've been building business credit for less than 12 months. Right? So if it, now going back to that same example, if it's an authorized trade line, they will not multiply authorized trade lines. Why? Because going back to what I said in the very beginning, it's borrowed credit history. It's not you. So if you have none of your own credit cards and 5 authorized trade lines, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, and you're looking to get business credit, they're going to be like, you have insufficient revolving history. I know, okay? You're going to learn today. All right, number 4, right? So the time, you're wasting time. So let me explain. Let's say you get an authorized trade line, and let's say, you didn't listen to me. You bought an authorized trade line, and it's going to be in your credit report for 6 months, okay? 6 months. This is a wealth building channel. So you're trying to buy an apartment building. You're trying to buy a duplex. You're trying to buy your first house. You're trying to do house hacking. You're trying to get whatever. You're trying to get real estate financing. Well, guys, that 6 months, let's say you did go through and you had enough of your own credit history. You got a little boost, and let's say you skimmed through and you actually got approved. Congratulations, okay? Now it's going to be in your report for 6 months. Well, by the time you get a mortgage pre-approval, find a property, put in an offer, they accept the offer, have inspection, have appraisal, go back and forth, negotiate, go to settlement. I've actually seen people that had an authorized trade line. It boosted them just enough, right, for them to get approved. And then it was on the reports. And then guess what? The underwriter, come on, somebody, the banks before settlement or closer to settlement will pull your reports again because so much time has passed, and now the item is no longer on your credit report. Your scores have dropped, and now that blood, sweat, tears, time, and energy you put into buying a house is gone. The deal closes. You are no longer approved. Goodbye to your property. Guys, you're wasting time. They're not guaranteed to stay on your report forever, especially nowadays when so many people are buying and selling these shady trade lines, okay? And the last one is that you cannot transition into business credit. Guys, I cannot tell you how many times people will be working on their credit, and then they want to go build business credit and they get denied for insufficient revolving credit history or no revolving credit history. That means you have none of your own primary trade lines. Guys, pause. You can use credit builder accounts. Check the description of my video, and I'll also pin it to the comments where you can get, I don't care if your credit score is 400 right now. Use that money and get your own secured credit builder account and work on the credit limits later. Just get your own primary trade lines first. Step number 1, get your own primary trade lines. Step number 2, let it increase your score. Step number 3, then work on increasing the limit, but first get your own accounts. Guys, you can use your own money and get a credit builder account literally today. I'll put the link in the description. description. But if you guys are spending all this time, let's say for 2 years, you've just been doing authorized trade lines, authorized trade lines. Now you're getting serious. Well, guess what? You have no primary accounts. You can't transition into business credit. You're gonna get some things like tier 1 accounts, tier 2 vendor accounts, but you're not gonna jump in and get a business line of credit when you have no revolving personal primary trade lines. Okay, so 5, you're wasting time and money. They're not as effective. They don't report to all the bureaus. The companies don't all recognize them. You can't, they don't recognize them. You can't multiply the credit limits. Sometimes they expire. You can't transition into business credit, guys. There is a bunch of reasons why I do not buy and sell trade lines, and I need you all to wake up. That's going to be my nugget, right? My nugget is that if you want to be a wealth warrior, you want to be a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire, you want to be wealthy, you want to have legacy and inheritance, you're going to have to learn financial literacy on your own. Build your own credit on your own. Build a foundation on your own. You must be faithful over Jesus, over 30,000, 50,000 before he'll give you the 500,000 and the million. So stop listening to these credit specialists and just build it the right way. One good time. Build it the right way. One good time, and then you never have to do it again. If you don't know how to increase your credit scores, you can invest in my workshop. I'll put the link in the description, or you can do a one-on-one with me. I'll also put the link in the description. I hope that helped, and I hope you learned something. Have an amazing day.